Today we are back on our R&B vibes. I want to go with something that has a Drake feel to it. So as you can see, we're at 89 for the BPM. I'm gonna start off in A minor, but I always end up transposing either up or down later. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I don't know. Let's see what happens. All right, now let's transpose a couple things because I did play these in their like real basic form. So let's actually take up the C and the G right here, bring it up an octave by control up arrow, and now it sounds like this. So we'll do this as well over here. And to get this chord a little bit closer to these as far as spacing, probably just bring this up a whole octave, control up arrow. And then on this chord, let's bring up the A and the C. We'll leave the root note down here. When they fall closer together, it just kind of sounds more natural. It sounds better. I'm gonna mess around with these velocities and like the quantizing. It is gonna take some time, so I'm gonna just skip forward on that. I like to spend a lot of time to make it just sound like perfect. So I wanna add something at the end, just like a kind of passing chord to end the chord progression that'll kind of loop back into the beginning. And I'm gonna utilize the same type of gap we have over here. The actual chord progression does start on A on the 1, so we can just go ahead and hit G right here and build out a pretty simple chord. Probably just use a couple notes, and then it'll sound like this. And it's a nice resolve. So instead of skipping a note and placing one here, I'm going to utilize the E right here like this. And then we can actually bring this up one octave here. Again, making sure that our notes kind of fall close to each other, as you can see here and here. And then I'm just gonna add in a couple more notes real quick, see what I can find. I'll skip forward again. All right, so I added in 2 passing notes right here. We go from D to E. I also added in a C up here, which falls nicely into this B. And this just gives a little bit of rhythm. So I'll let you hear that real quick. And let me highlight the notes that we added in. So the piano used for this was Piano 3 from my Loveless Analog Lab bank. There's actually no effects on it. So if you need a go-to bank for R&B, trap, soul, this is gonna be the perfect bank for you. There's 50 presets in it. Every sound's just ready to go. And just in case you're like, I don't have Analog Labs, but I do have Omnisphere, I got the Beautiful Souls Omnisphere R&B bank. I had to shout that one out. But let's get back to it. I always like to layer a pad underneath my piano, so let's duplicate Labs right here. Always calling it Labs, but it's Analog Lab. But saying let's duplicate Lab doesn't really sound too cool, so I'm gonna stick with Labs. And let's find a pad. First, I actually need to copy the chord progression in right here. Ooh. Turn it down. So I just loaded in the process, and you guys always see me use on vocals because I am going to have a vocal in this beat later. And it's just some EQ that cuts out all of the low end, all of the high end. You've probably seen this on my channel multiple times. And then the reverb right here, and you can see the settings there. It's a pretty big reverb. A little bit more like airy, tucked in the back. So since we are going for that Drake vibe, you know we have to have like a percussion that's in the background with a whole bunch of reverb, kind of having like that doot, 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 doot rhythm. So let's go over to the Broken Hearts drum kit. There we go. Let's layer that one in. All right, so I got the percussion placed. I went ahead and added some processing onto this as well. Another EQ, cutting out a whole bunch of low end, a whole bunch of high end and mid range. And then I add a reverb to it, which you can see right here is the Valhalla Vintage reverb. Now we get this. So I want to add in one more percussive element. I think perk 2, because it has this really cool like stutter effect to it. I feel like it could sound good towards like the end of a bar, because we got to make sure that it's not playing like while that percussion is playing, because it's going to get a little bit too busy. All right, before we add it in though, let's go over here to stretch and let's bring it down by a whole octave. Oh, that's fire. Now for one of the best parts for me, and let me turn this volume down real quick. I'm gonna go look for a vocal inside of Arcade. I'll show you which vocal I find, which bank it's in, and how we're gonna utilize it. So inside of Hooked, I found this bank right here. Actually, I don't know if they would call Hooked the bank or like I don't know, it would be called like a preset or the library, whatever. Anyways, this one here, and the vocal that I want to utilize is right over here. Let me let you hear it. I have no control, right? But the thing that we could do is actually hit this, go into edit, and you'll see that it's just chopping this part right here, but there's this whole other section to the right and to the left. So we got actually more vocal than that. So let's go over here. Then we're going to export it and chop it up, because that can, like, I don't know. I just feel like we can come up with something cool. I got Edison loaded up on mixer track 3, and I have it actually above the EQ and reverb, so it doesn't record with it. So it records it dry. So we have it dry for later. If you record it with the processing, it's going to be on it. So just in case you don't necessarily want that processing printed, just put Edison above it. And what I mean by that is just having it above here, and then it won't print the effects, but you'll still hear the effects while it's playing, if that makes sense. So all I'm going to do is go right here, hit record, and then hold down B and let this record. So we'll trim side noise right here, go into edit properties, sync it on time. So we got a 4-bar loop. We got 1 right here, 2, 3, 4. So I know that the 5, when I let it loop over, needs to be cut off. So let's just drag this out into the playlist. If you haven't used Arcade yet and you're interested in trying it out, I do have an affiliate link in the description, which will give you a free 30-day trial. So make sure to check that out. And it was like bar by bar inside of Arcade. So we'll do that real quick. Go here and here like that. And then I did say I wanted that second part to be first, like this. And now we could do the fade ins in FL21. Finally, fade in, fade out. What if we brought the second one over here? And then to give it, let me see. Probably gonna have to name these because I'm gonna get confused. But what if we had this play here, make unique, and bring this down by a whole octave and have it like kind of repeat? Maybe we could do that for the same one with this one. Ooh. Hold on, we're getting something going. Oh, you see how it picks up on time? Drag it out a little bit more. That's fire. Come on, let's add the bass to this. Let me go over here. Let's duplicate Analog Labs. All right, for the bass, I ended up choosing sub 6. I really wanted like one that was tucked in the back, more like 3. But 6 has a really cool LFO on it, which I kind of like for this, but I might switch it later, I'm not sure. So it's gonna go ahead and just follow the root notes. Let's jump into the drums, because I'm pretty sure by now with everything we did, this tutorial is probably gonna be pretty long. All these drums are from the Broken Hearts drum kit. We got a rim, hi-hat, kick, cymbal, open hat. And I'm actually gonna bring this up a little bit because it is a little bit slow. Let's hit like maybe 92 for this. And let's just go ahead and jump straight into the drums. Could bring in a cymbal hit right here. Not sure exactly where I want those to be. All right, so I messed with the drums a little bit more. I actually ended up switching out the open hi-hat and the cymbal. So we're using the resupply open hi-hat 7 and then the resupply open hi-hat 9. I also exported the melody right here so that we can actually pitch it down or up and see which one sounds cool. Drop a comment down below which one you like better. I haven't done this yet, so I'm pretty excited to see what it sounds like when we pitch it up or down. But before we do that real quick, I actually want to speed this up. Let's just hit, I don't know, let's hit like 95 just so it's a little bit faster. All right, now here's down by 2. Ooh. That At first I had that Drake feel. That vocal right when it dropped. So here's Up by One. This beat is perfect for freestyling too. I really am happy that we like the end vibe does sound like some Drake vibes to it for sure. So I don't know. I would say probably pitching it down sounds a lot better, but let me know in the comment section down below. By the time this video is done, you'll see which one I chose because we'll hear the full beat. But if you're interested in any of the kits used in today's video, there'll be a link to them down in the description. Let's hear the full beat.